Welcome to a surprise Friday Reads. Originally, this was going to be a wrap-up, but I have enough energy today, Thursday, to film and edit this and put it up for tomorrow. It might not, we'll see. I think it's going to be this video, because I think I have it in me to film this and do all that stuff and save the wrap-up for Monday, which I've already filmed. So this is filmed after the wrap-up, but I just figured I just got my PhD and I wanted to say hi and be like, oh my gosh, I got my PhD. And I have read things and I have opinions about things. And so yeah, we're going to do normal Friday Reads, although I am exhausted. My body has been through it with the stress of this week. So if my energy's a little off, that's why. So yeah, got a PhD 2 days ago. Thank you everyone for all of the congratulations that you've posted. I'm frankly overwhelmed. I'm definitely someone that before I had a YouTube channel did not have like a large social media presence. So like 100 likes or anything is like normally what I'm used to with like a Facebook thing or an Instagram thing on my personal account. So the support is overwhelming in the best way, and just a big thank you to everyone. It's been a journey, and BookTube was something that I started in a response to my mental health struggling with my PhD. So like it makes sense that like I would tell you guys like I did it, because this community, this like outlet of productivity has been really critical to me. So that out of the way, what have I been reading? Because I have been reading some things, and I've been really, I don't know, it's all over the place. I'm reading 3 things and they're very different. And I know what I'm starting today on Friday in addition to these things. And I started to try and play a video game, and I have Brandon Sanderson thoughts. So that's what we're going to cover. And I have a book from a publisher. So hodgepodge video, just me saying hi, being a little more relaxed, even though still so exhausted. So I've started Hood Feminism, a nonfiction book. I am liking it. I'm listening to the audiobook. It is narrated by the author, and it's definitely a very good lens into what type of issues being a feminism needs to include, and how we can't only center issues of privileged white women, which is what feminism tends to do. Because a lot of the time, I mean, this is what I always think of, is like, in order to have the ability, to have the free time to be involved in political activities, because not everyone gets paid to be involved in trying to change policy and enact policy and protest. Like, it's emotionally draining, it's time draining. You typically need to be someone who has a pretty stable income and job and like feel pretty good about life. And that typically tends to be more privileged individuals. And so a lot of the issues that are being brought up in the book are definitely really good issues to bring up in feminist spaces. So I'm really actually looking forward to the book club for that with Jess Owens. We're going to do a reading sprint at some point this month. Keep an eye out. That is in the works. I've just been really bad at being like planning anything. Like now I'm okay to plan stuff. But before March 2nd happened, I was like, there's no March 3rd. And I'm filming this on March 3rd. So obviously March 3rd happened. So Hood Feminism is going well. I really like the authorial voice, similar to how I liked Mediocre. Just, you know, definitely brings a lot of their own personality, convictions, passion into it. And I appreciate that, especially when it's a piece like this that is partially diagnostic. But I also really appreciate that Hood Feminism also allows small solutions for how you as an individual can reframe yourself and how you think to try and help become better. Like, it's not like a solutions book, but it's a little less just only diagnostic that I'm used to with a lot of nonfiction that I've read on this subject. So that's been nice. I have also started The Last Story of Minna Lee, and I was originally going to listen to the audiobook because I thought it would be good on audiobook, and I do not like the audio narrator or I do not like the sentence structure and the cadence the audio narrator uses for that. There were a lot of short sentences, and the way that the cadence of the narrator was just, I couldn't unhear it, and it was bothering me. So I've been reading it at night before bed, and it's good. I don't have a lot to say so far. I think I'm only 20% of the way in, but basically we have a daughter who has a contentious relationship with her mother, who's an immigrant from Korea and has her own history, her own trials. And her daughter never wanted to learn the language and actually moved away to Seattle while her mom still lives, I believe, in LA and California. And she's about to travel back to LA to help her friend move in, and in the process discovers that her mother is dead. And that's what we just got to. And it looks like it's going to be kind of 2 timelines, because we actually have had a flashback to the mother's perspective, which I'm really interested in. So I need to read more. I'm glad that physically reading it, the sentence structure, cadence or whatever has not bothered me. Like with the audiobook, I was nervous because this is not a book I'm allowed to DNF because it's from my local book club. So that's one that I've been reading on my Kindle before bed. And my favorite book that I'm reading right now, and I'm so excited, and I'm so excited that I'm now slowly like retaining and gaining energy so I can just like sit down and just immerse myself in it, is Ruin of Kings. I mentioned on my TBR earlier this week that I have heard mixed things, and Judith and I have plans to read all 5 books together, which is really exciting because we love buddy reading together, but we don't do it that often, mainly just because we've both already read what the other ones read, so to read this entire series together is going to be so fun. Like, for her, she's rereading the first 4 books. So it's the first time for me for the whole thing, and we'll both read the 5th book together. I'm just really pumped. But Ruin of Kings, okay. I understand the critiques about convoluted narrative structure and not liking it. I get it. I'm having a blast, and it is the most fantasy thing I've ever read, and I love it, and it's perfect for me. Okay? And there's also sometimes, like, my framework, right? So I have been kind of off-camera obsessed with trying to obtain a video game console. For no real good reason other than I've been wanting to play Horizon Zero Dawn, and my computers are never good enough for it, and we don't have a gaming console for that. And I'm not a video gamer, I'm not very good at it, but Horizon Zero Dawn is my aesthetic, okay? And I promise this relates to Ruin of Kings somehow. And so while I've been waiting to get the PlayStation and to get Horizon Zero Dawn and to not have a defense, I have been kind of craving the storytelling and world building you get from video game stories. Not that I'm that experienced, but I just know it's a different feel from when I watch Ryan play games and when I've heard about people like Dark Souls has a really weird world building execution. And in this book, you can tell it's written by someone who does video games, and she's a video game producer. And you can tell, and so I was craving that type of world building, because this book has footnotes. Now, I'm listening to the audiobook, and the audiobook has 3 narrators, one for the person who does the footnotes and the general compiling of this document. And then you have Kieran, our main character, telling his story from one timeline, and you have Talon, his jailer, telling a different story from a different timeline. And so it honestly flows really well, like kind of like a movie overarching narrator when you're reading something and there's a footnote and then it switches to the footnote for a second to be like, actually, that's not true, or elaborating on a world building thing. And it feels like it makes sense to me, and I really like it that way. So not only was I in the mood for these weird piecemeal world building execution, like experimental things, like I was just in the mood, the audio book is so good. Like, especially I'm immersion reading it, and I'm having a blast. Like, it's so much fun. Like, it's so fantasy. We've got prophecy, we've got like hidden backstories, we've got everyone having their own secret agendas, political intrigue, personified gods, we have magical creatures, and you get to see all of this on the page, and the banter between characters is so fun to me. So I'm having a blast. And I'm hoping that that continues. I mean, this is Judith's least favorite of the series, and if I'm loving it, I cannot imagine this not being a new favorite series for me. I just wish that the mass market paperback, or not mass market, but trade paperbacks didn't have the stupid inset. I just don't like it. But I do actually like reading it on my Kindle because, at least with a Kindle Oasis, I don't have the paper white ebook or anything, or on my phone, the footnotes are just a symbol, so you could just choose not to read them, or I just tap them while the audiobook reads it, and I can read it there and then tap it and it goes away. I know one of my friends had to go to a footnote library at the back of an ebook on the device they were using, and it might have been a phone. But for me, it's been a seamless, fun, engaging experience. Like, all I want to do is read that book. I read 130 pages of that book in one evening, and I never do that. Like, I never do that. So yeah, that's my life, or those 3 books. I just started Horizon Zero Dawn today. I am not good at things, but I have not died yet, and I have killed some dinos. They're not dinos, but they're like mech dinos. They look a lot like raptors and things like that. And I'm so intrigued. I'm so excited. It's so pretty. Like, it's so pretty. And Ryan is endlessly amused that I'm learning video games for the first time. Like, there are just some things that are so basic, I think, to people who, like, play video games a lot. And, like, me, I'm just like, oh, and this is how I crouch, and this is how I jump. And but I'm having a good time, and I think I'll be able to, like, get better. Do I wish I was good enough to play Elden Ring? Maybe a little, because everyone's talking about it, but I will probably never be good enough to play one of those games by those producers of games. They make ridiculously difficult games. Okay, so those are all the stories I've been consuming. Pretty sure that's all I've done, because, like, honestly, Monday and Tuesday were a blur. And, like, Wednesday was the defense, and I know what happened, but it's very much one of those out of body, I wasn't all present for it sort of things. And so I have a book from the publisher Tor. I think this is a Tor.com book. It's not a novella. It is about 240 pages for my ARC, and I've been really interested. I actually already had an e-ARC, and they asked if I wanted a physical copy, and I said yes, I would. And that is The City Inside. I believe this is written by an Indian author, and it's supposed to kind of be cyberpunk. I don't know a lot. I think what I had read intrigued me. It's not that long. I really do like the cover. Like, if I ended up liking it, I would definitely buy a finished copy. And I've been wanting to read more sci-fi by Indian authors. The one I read last year, Machine Hood, was really good. So, excited for that. Now, I think the last thing I wanted to talk about was the Brandon Sanderson news, because apparently that's been a thing on the internet. I've not really been on my Twitter, but I've gotten the gist. And I'll just tell you my experience with the news, because I don't know. I think it's valid. I've been a Sanderson fan since 2005. I am old school. And I mean, I'm not saying that to gatekeep. I think you can be a hardcore Sanderson fan even if you found him last month. Like, I'm just saying, I've known Sanderson books for a very long time. I have followed his blogs, been on his newsletter. I have been very invested in Sanderson fiction specifically before he was like a book internet household name sort of thing. And the last time something like this happened was like, I want to say 2014. I think it was The State of Sanderson in 2014, where he was just like, hey guys, guess what? I actually wrote 2 books in Mistborn Era 2. And that was like really exciting, because at that point it'd been a really long time since we had been back in that world, because Alloy of Law came out, I want to say like 2011. And so it was pretty exciting that we got like 2 books in 1 year for the Cosmere. And that was just in a blog post, you know. I don't know how many people saw it. I don't actually know how in the internet what the reception was to that. So that's the last time I heard anything like this. And I was told, I believe, on Monday, hey, has anyone seen this video Sanderson posted? It sounded really serious. And it was that 2-minute video. And I went to watch it. I was like out of the house running errands, and I hated that video. I was like, it gave me anxiety. Now, granted, I've been an anxious mess for weeks. And I shouldn't have such a strong parasocial relationship to a man who just writes a bunch of books that I like to read. But I was really concerned. Like, not because there was any outcome that would have upset me or affected my life. Like, he's written so many books that I could just reread till the end of time. So, like, if he suddenly needed to take a huge break, I would have been okay. I really wasn't expecting that, because I know how much he loves to write. But it stressed me out. And this was before he posted on social media that, like, you know, it wasn't about mental health and that he's fine. But, like, give the man an Oscar. I legitimately thought it was super serious. Like, I was not okay. I was really stressed. And then the next day, we get the video, and you know, we all saw what happened. There's the Kickstarter, and I'm on the top tier. I bought the whole thing. At first, when he showed the first book, I'm like, oh, of course, this makes sense. I was not expecting 5, but I was totally expecting the 1 book. And so a lot of people are upset about the mental health stuff, or like, I don't know how he went about revealing this. And I will say, I did not like the Monday video. I would have just preferred that the Tuesday video existed on its own. That would have been my mental health preference. But that said, my favorite author surprised me with 4 new books. I have forgiven him. I just, that's where I'm at. And I mean, everyone gets to have their own experience and their own opinion. And I am not telling anyone that they are wrong in how they are approaching it, but this is just me. I'm just like, my favorite author wrote me 4 books. Do I wish he hadn't on his weekly update teased that Tuesday video at all? I think it would have just been better if he just dropped the Tuesday video and we didn't know it was coming. I think that would have been a better approach, because I think there's nothing wrong with the Tuesday video personally. He's just being himself, being very over the top about this fun reveal, and you can just see his joy in it. But like, I'm pumped, and I can't wait. I'm not looking into any of it. So this channel, we're not speculating. I do have a chat in my Discord where people are allowed to chat about the things as they reveal them. Spoiler, I'm not going to be in that particular chat. Like, I muted it for myself, but there is a space where people who are in my community who want to talk about it can talk about it together. But I am just going to accept the books as they come in the mail and read them, and it's going to be fantastic. So yeah, that's my response to what happens, and I do agree that, like, it's so much money, and wouldn't it be great if other authors, especially authors of color, get a lot of money? Of course. I mean, I love reading other authors' works. Sanderson's one of my favorites, but I don't actually talk about his works that much on this channel. This is the most I've talked about Brandon Sanderson since I did my Mistborn review way back a couple months ago, probably 6 months ago, not sure when. So, like, he is very popular. I don't think it's a shock at all. I don't know what's happening in the higher conversations about, is this where publishing's going? I'm a consumer of books, and I'm not on the pulse. I just find books I like to read. I like to read a wide variety of books. But at my core, I'm a huge Sanderson fan. Like, I am so pumped. I am a huge Sanderson fan, okay? Like, I'm excited. I'm really excited. So those are all my thoughts. Thank you for everyone who said congratulations and everything like that. And sorry if this video is not what you're used to. I don't know how to talk anymore. I talked for so long yesterday. So if any of this is different, just know that, and, you know, be kind. But normal wrap-up coming up next week. We might, that challenge video you guys voted for, we're planning on filming that either tomorrow or Saturday. So Friday or Saturday, and have that up next week in celebration of Ryan's birthday, 4K, PhD. It's just going to be a celebratory challenge video at this point. So that should hopefully be up next week. And that's it for this one. If you want to leave an emoji, leave a dinosaur. Because I'm not going to lie, I just like calling those things in Horizon Zero Dawn dinosaurs. It makes me happy. And like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.